cold as a razor blade.
Episode of the Snake Pit, and of course, I could never do it without himself. Master of the DDT, WWE Hall of Famer, motherfucking Jake Roberts. Jake, how's it going, man? You like that intro? Was that good?
Hell yeah.
Yeah, okay. I was like, what is going on over there? Is it you? What are you and Cheryl up to?
Oh, she's been shopping, of course.
That's one of my wife's favorite moves too, man.
Well,
well, look, my other favorite move is Ask Jake Anything. And man, this week it's the 31st edition of Ask Jake Anything. As always, the listeners brought it. And guys, I say this every time. I want to emphasize it. If you don't hear yours in this one, we roll them over episode to episode, so it might be in the next one. So you got to tune in to find out. That's my Carney coming out. I want you guys to just download the next episode. You can hit me up in the DMs on social, or Jake always puts a prompt up on social media where you can drop your questions. So look there. Jake, before we get into the listener questions, wanted to ask you about a story that Jim Duggan recently told me. I enjoyed the story so much on my podcast with him, the Hacksaw Hour, that I wanted to bring it over here with you.
All right.
So he told me a story about the two of you taking revenge on Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty with a really great receipt rib that was so stiff that apparently the two of you kayfabed it for years, but Jim revealed it. So do you remember this?
Oh, yeah.
All right, please enlighten our listeners on what happened.
Well, what happened was we'd wrestled in a town, and we were all trying to get to the strip joint afterwards. And we had to drive, so it was going to be close. Well, we come out and hop in our car and go to take off, and be damned if those assholes haven't put a fucking lock on the gate. So we couldn't get out.
How'd you know it was those two?
Because they left right before us.
Okay, I got you.
So we did what any good American would do. We drove through it. Well, you have insurance on rental cars.
That's right.
But we were pissed.
Mm-hmm.
And what we done is we took toothpicks and broke them off in the locks of their car. And they couldn't get their luggage out of the trunk. And they're being screamed at by everybody. Get out there. They want you. Damn it. Just go.
Oh, amazing.
Oh, yeah.
And so to this day, are they until this moment, they didn't know it was you guys?
Nope.
Oh, that's great. Well, Jim broke kayfabe already, so there it goes. It's out there, Marty and Shawn. If you now you know the years-long mystery is finally solved.
Yeah.
Jim or Jake, can you think of any other receipt ribs that you pulled? Because I'm starting to find, everybody talks about Mr. Perfect and Owen Hart, and I'm coming to find that Jake Roberts might be the master of the rib.
Mine are usually pretty stiff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right. What's the meanest one you've done?
Well, that was pretty close.
Yeah, that was pretty mean.
I don't know. I'd have to think about that.
All right, give it some thought. We'll return to it.
All right.
The other thing I wanted to ask you about before we get into listener questions is I have a wrestling question, which is something I love doing on these shows with you. This Saturday, as we're recording, I'm going to be working in Altoona for Imagine Wrestling. It's a really great promotion there. If you're in Western or Central Pennsylvania, strongly recommend you go and check it out. But Jake, I'm going to be participating in this event at my very first ever tag team match. I've never been in one. So I'm excited about trying something new, but it's something I really haven't even practiced yet as a wrestler. So like I'm green as goose shit when it comes to tag team wrestling. So I know you didn't enjoy tag team wrestling, but God knows you were certainly involved in plenty of them. Jake, if you were to lay out a tag team match, how would you advise I approach it?
Well, you just got to follow what your partner's doing.
Okay.
If he's working the arm, stay with the arm.
Mm.
You know, when he tags you in, you do something else to the arm.
Ah, okay.
So you stay on the arm. If it's the leg, you stay on the leg. Whatever it is, you stay on it.
So just kind of follow my partner's lead.
Exactly.
Now, what I'm gonna be working as a heel at this. Anything I should be looking to do as the heel in a tag team match?
Cheap shots. Be sure and get some in.
Okay. Okay. So you mean like use my partner, distract the ref, get in some cheap shots, that sort of thing?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm excited to give it a try, man. I'm actually gonna go to the facility tonight and work out with this guy who I'm tag teaming with, and we're gonna figure out some shit because like we've never worked together before, so it should be pretty interesting.
Cool.
Yeah, man. All right, let's get into these listener questions. James Kanowitz reached out to me on Instagram, and he's got something really cool that I had never seen before. It just started making its rounds on social media in like the past week or so, and he asked me to play it for you so he could get your take on it. I'm not going to spoil it. I'll just play the video and we can comment on it. Here we go.
The snake is body slammed to the mat. He's pinned by Hulk Hogan. 1, 2, 3. The Hulk wins it.
Oh man, that Hulk Hogan is amazing, isn't he?
Buddy, the thing is fixed.
Oh, that's too bad. Hulk Hogan can't have children.
It's evolution's laws.
So I don't know if you heard that at the beginning, but right there at the start, it said Jake the Snake Roberts in there with Hulk Hogan on Cheers. How cool is? You've never seen that?
No.
How cool is that shit? Jake the Snake Roberts on Cheers.
That's super cool.
Were you a fan of the series back in the day?
Oh yeah.
Man, and here in the meantime, they're bringing up your name on their television program.
That's why they were so good.
Well, that's gotta. I would like to see the ratings before and after. I'd guarantee
Absolutely.
they had to have peaked after that. The next question was going to be whether or not that was on your radar. So until this very moment, you've had no idea that was out there.
I had no idea.
Man, Jake the Snake Roberts, name mentioned on one of the most famous sitcoms ever. Pretty cool. News Slack is up next, and he wants to know: did you help people with their promos? Now that's an interesting one because obviously, people in management and the companies you have been in would have known that you're one of the best promos in the business. Did they ever ask you to help a guy who was struggling?
Yeah, I've tried.
Okay. Any names you can mention about guys you tried to help?
Warrior.
Really?
Yeah.
How'd that go?
Didn't.
He wasn't receptive?
No.
Can't imagine he would be.
No. There's quite a few of the young guys that I helped.
Mm-hmm.
Steve Austin. Gosh. And then some of these younger kids that are at AEW, I tried to help them.
Did you see improvement in any of the young guys that you've been trying to help in more recent years?
Yeah, I have.
Okay. Are you able to mention any of those names or don't want to?
No, I'm not going to do that.
I don't blame you. Jake, somebody asked a question here. I didn't include it in the notes, but you bringing up Steve Austin mentioned it to me or reminded me of it. They said Steve Austin feels like the love child of Jake Roberts and Arn Anderson. I was like, damn, that's actually a pretty good comparison. Like if you compared Jake Roberts and Arn Anderson, the rest would probably come out a little bit like Steve Austin, right?
Yeah, it'd have to.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. Josh J is up next, and Josh asks, for any wrestler who's just starting out and finding their craft, what is the best advice you have for someone who's working on their promos? There we go, another promo question.
Practice, 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 man.
And
put some thought into it.
When you would practice, are you practicing in front of a mirror or what were you doing?
Yeah, in front of a mirror or just driving down the highway, looking in the rearview mirror.
Okay. Now, can you think of an instance? Because, I think that a lot of guys get into wrestling and they think of what's happening in the ring. A lot of them don't really consider the part where, oh, yeah, I have to get my character over and cut a promo. Super important. And I think a lot of guys really put a pressure on themselves and get nervous about it.
Yeah.
Can you think of a time when you really fucked up a promo bad or was that not really a thing?
Yeah, sure. I fucked up promos.
Okay. Difficult for you to recover? Would you beat yourself up about it or what's your approach following a shitty promo?
Oh, I'd be pissed off about it for quite a bit.
Yeah. How do you regain your confidence? Is the only way to go out there and cut a good promo afterwards?
Exactly.
There you go, folks. Just stay on the damn horse. It's not easy.
Shit, man.
Okay, guys, let's take a quick time out to talk about our fantastic sponsor, Blue Chew. It is the new year, and it's time for you to have better sex with Blue Chew. And they're putting their money where their mouth is, pal. They're offering you a month for free. The whole process is totally simple. You owe it to yourself to give this a try. You just sign up at BlueChew.com, consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, you'll receive your prescription within days. Blue Chew's tablets are made in the USA and prepared and shipped direct to your door. You can take them anytime, day or night, so you can plan ahead or be ready when the opportunity arises. The best part? It's all done online. That means no more visits to the doctor's office, no more awkward, uncomfortable conversations, and no more waiting in line at the pharmacy. Now, look, people ask me all the time, and it's always the same question: does Blue Chew really work? Well, let me tell you, pal, it's time for you to find out for yourself. People are going to be calling you Eagle Scout with the way that you're going to be pitching tents by the time Blue Chew is done with you. The folks at Blue Chew told me they're not going to stop until every man is bricked up like a brick house. That is their mission. They want to get you rock hard in the new year. You know, I said you owe it to yourself. Not only do you owe it to yourself, you also owe it to your partner. You could be missing out on the best sex of your entire life without even knowing about it. Come on, you got to give this a try. They say there is nothing sexier than confidence, and Blue Chew can help give you confidence where it counts. We can all relate to wanting to feel more confident, right? Especially in the bedroom, and Blue Chew's here for you. It's time, guys. Make life easier by getting harder and discover your options at BlueChew.com. We've got a special deal for our listeners. Try your first month of Blue Chew free. Just visit BlueChew.com and use our code SNAKE at checkout. You'll get your first month free. Just pay $5 shipping. Visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information, and we thank Blue Chew for sponsoring the podcast. Kenny Dunn is up next, and Kenny wants to know, do you regret smoking cigarettes for so many years?
Yes, I do.
How's everything going with quitting? I know that you've been trying to at least lay off, right?
Yeah, I'm doing 4 a day.
Okay, down from what? What was your max?
2 packs.
Okay, so down to 4, pretty decent.
Yeah.
Are you feeling like itchy, like cravings, all that sort of thing?
Sure I am.
Do you try to like break it up like specific hours of the day? This is when I'm going to smoke or what?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're just like counting down the end like till 2 p.m. or whatever.
Right.
I totally get it. I think I've asked you about this before, Jake, but I don't remember your response. Have you ever tried chewing tobacco to replace it?
God, no.
Why not?
I'd probably like it.
Ah, well, there is that. And then you swap one bad habit for another.
Exactly.
Coach Holgertz, I guess is how you say it. Coach asks, what's your guilty pleasure music? We know you love Pink Floyd, Jake. What's your music that maybe you wouldn't want the boys to know that you enjoy listening to?
I don't think I have any music that I would feel like that towards, man.
Really?
Yeah, number one, fuck the boys. I don't care.
Ah, okay. You don't give a shit about their opinions.
No, hell no.
So you were coming into the locker room with a boombox, just blaring Cyndi Lauper. No shame.
No shame.
Good for you. Next up, we've got Carrie Hamer, who asks, Jim Duggan posted, actually, this happened today. Jim Duggan posted today about his wedding anniversary. Today marks 36 years for Jim. He revealed that you were one of his groomsmen, which is pretty amazing. What do you remember about being part of Hacksaw's wedding?
It was a good time, man. Magnum TA was there. A few other guys, and we just had a good time.
Did Jim ever talk to you about who the wedding singer at his wedding wound up being?
Who the what?
The wedding singer at his wedding. They wound up being somebody famous.
I don't remember.
It's Lillian Garcia, who's like the ring announcer in WWE right now.
Oh, how about that?
Like, what are the odds that she would go on to have a career in WWE and here she's just a kid as a wedding singer there?
About that.
Pretty wild. Gravity Amplifiers asks, have you written any short stories or long ones? Fiction writing. I bet you would be really good at it, and it would be great to hear you narrate your own storybooks.
No, I haven't.
Have you ever thought about writing fiction?
No, I haven't. You know, it's pretty good thing to bring up there. Maybe I should.
Man, that's a cool idea. Like, do you have like stories in your head that maybe you feel like you could get down on paper?
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's something to think about. Yeah, man. And by the way, like, you know, I could help you produce like the audio versions of these, and you can get them out there on them internets, make some money on them.
That's a thought.
Something to think about. The next person is called Jake the Snake's Snake. Apparently, this is Damien writing to you from the grave. And Jake the Snake's Snake wants to know, what were some of your favorite wrestling tights that you wore? Any stick out for you, Jake?
Yeah, there was a pair that had like cobwebs going wet, you know, a spider's web on the side.
Yeah.
And the snake on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
Those were some of my favorites. And then another pair had a rat dressed up in not a gown, dressed up in a oh, what the hell?
It's like an overcoat. I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah, it had an overcoat look to it.
That's a cool design.
Yeah.
Were you coming up with these and like telling your seamstress, like, I want my tights to look like this, or was she just churning cool shit out?
A little bit of both.
Okay. So your spiderweb tights, I believe that those were the tights that you wore at WrestleMania 3. So pretty significant. You have any idea where those might have wound up?
I have no idea, bro.
Ah, man, could you imagine if you still had those?
Oh shit.
The other pair that I think a lot of people point to as like their favorite Jake Roberts tights are the ones that you wore when the Cobra bit Macho Man, the fucking fire and all those colors. You had a couple versions of those. Man, so you had some pretty cool looks over the years.
Yeah.
If you don't mind my asking, how much were you spending to get a new pair of tights done?
Between 4 and 6.
Not that bad.
No.
LWK is up next. They ask, I saw where Brian Knobbs is recovering from a recent health scare. I was wondering if Jake had any stories about the Nasty Boys.
Those guys were too much, man. They were too much. I remember one time I told them they got in a fight at a bar. And I pulled them aside and I said, look, guys, I said, you know, it's different, man. Now you're on TV everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
You got to be careful what you do. I said, these people don't give a shit. I said, somebody will wind up sticking a fucking knife in you. And it wasn't 2 weeks later, somebody stuck a knife in Brian Knobbs.
You're like fucking Babe Ruth calling the shot.
There you go.
I've heard some things about Brian Knobbs being a bit of an instigator. I'd guess that there were a good many people that wanted to stick a knife in him over the years.
Yeah.
Next up, we've got Rick Guzman, who asks, having worked with the people from Dark Side of the Ring often, is there a subject that you're surprised they haven't covered yet?
Not really. They're doing a pretty good job, man.
Mm-hmm.
They're doing a pretty good job.
Do you like working with those guys? Because I have heard some people say that, like, you know, they'll kind of cut up and edit what you say and twist it around a little bit.
Well, they're going to do that.
I feel like everybody does that, right?
Yeah.
But like, I've heard a few guys say, I'm never going on that fucking show again and all that sort of thing. You don't feel that way. You'd go back if invited, right?
I'd go back.
Why not? Okay, guys, time to take a quick break to talk about our new sponsor, and a sponsor that is near and dear to my heart personally. I'm talking about Brunt. Guys, I am absolutely obsessed with Brunt boots. It's been a game changer. I just got these in the mail, and I love them already. You know, I live in the Pittsburgh area, but I grew up in Elk County, which is more of like the mountains and the woods of Pennsylvania. And up in that region, if you don't have a good pair of boots, you're screwed. So I'm a person who's used boots my entire life, and it's kind of a mixed bag. You know, sometimes you'll try to go a little bit cheaper and you get what you pay for there. Ordinarily, those boots wear out in a couple months. And then sometimes you go a little bit more expensive, but who knows what you sacrifice. Sometimes they look better, but they're not as comfortable. You know, as somebody who really, really knows boots, I can tell you definitively that my Brunt boots are the best pair of boots that I have ever owned. That is not just me talking. That's not just me saying that because they're a sponsor. I'm a guy who uses boots all the time, and I love Brunt work boots. I got mine in the mail, put them on right away, and let me say the first thing that stuck out was quality. Just the look and the smell of these boots, the way that the presentation of the Brunt boots. I mean, the whole thing was just an absolute home run. Then you put them on, and no joke, these are the most comfortable work boots that I have ever put on my feet. I mean, the quality of these boots is immediately evident, and it was like kind of walking around in a pair of sneakers. Like most work boots have a very distinct kind of a feel on your foot. These boots, nope, very comfortable. Again, like walking around your favorite pair of sneakers. Now, if you're watching here on YouTube, I've actually got my boot right here in my hand. I mean, take a look at this thing. The craftsmanship, the quality of this. One thing that I really love about it is the side profile. I just think it looks a lot better when it doesn't have the heel. I mean, I love the fact that it's flat. Really, really beautiful tread on the bottom. Like everything about these boots screams not just quality, not just comfort, but style. It really is kind of a stylish looking, cool looking boot that you'd be happy to wear on any work site. And let me say, in the few times that I've worn them out already, man, I've gotten a lot of compliments from guys around the area. These boots in particular are the Marin work boots. So what you get with that, they're lightweight, they're waterproof, slip and oil resistant, heat resistant, and electrical hazard rated. I mean, if you're working a blue collar job, these boots are absolutely perfect. They're built for the really tough job sites, and again, completely waterproof. So if it's raining, if there's like mud or standing water where you're trying to work, your feet are going to stay dry. Or if you're in like a oily workshop where you've got like oil on the floor, or you've got like a muddy farm field that you're working in, anywhere in between, the 6-inch soft toe is built for workers across a variety of trades. And Brunt is not just work boots either. They offer a full range of high performance gear built for tough jobs. So from heavy duty work pants to weather resistant jackets, Brunt designs durable, reliable workwear to keep you protected and productive in any condition. You know, Brunt also knows that they have the best boots on the planet, so they'll let you try any of their products on the job risk-free. There's free shipping. So if you try it, if you don't like it, you can send it back. No harm, no foul, but I know for sure that you're going to love this stuff. Brunt didn't just make durable work boots. They reinvented comfort for the hardest workers out there. So, for a limited time, our listeners here on the Snake Pit get $10 off at Brunt by using code SNAKE at checkout. That's SNAKE at checkout. Just head to bruntworkwear.com and use our code SNAKE, and you're all set. Even better, Brunt lets you try all their products on the job risk-free. Again, it's free shipping, so you don't even have to worry about it if you don't like this product. You can send it right back. After your purchase, they're going to ask you where you heard about them, so please hook us up, do us a favor, just support our show and let them know that we sent you. One more time, guys, it's bruntworkwear.com. Use that code SNAKE, save $10. If you are a person who uses boots on your job, if you even just want to wear them casually, if it's just a cool style for you, let me tell you, Brunt checks every single box, and I know you guys are going to love them just like I do. David Davison is up next. I've got a question, Jake. In relation to your appearance in the movie The Peanut Butter Falcon, finally got out to see the movie on Netflix not long ago and was pleasantly surprised to see you and McFoley in it. How did that come about?
Phone call.
That's it.
That's it.
Were you at DDP's place and got a call, or?
No, I was in Oklahoma.
Okay.
Got a phone call. Took a plane.
Like, how quick is the turnaround from phone call to being on set?
About 2 weeks.
Wow. All right. So things are moving pretty quick.
Yeah.
Do you go back and watch like the movies that you've been in or TV shows you've done appearances on or anything?
Yeah.
Pretty. I still haven't seen Peanut Butter Falcon. Would you say that that's like your favorite thing that you've gone out and done?
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
All right, I got to check that one out. You were like a heel in it, if I remember right, weren't you?
Oh yeah, abused a mentally challenged kid.
Pretty heelish.
Yeah, about as low as you can go.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna put this. If it's on Netflix, I got to check it out. Harkin6785 asks, do you remember training Drew McIntyre back in 2003? What were your thoughts on him back then?
I knew he had it.
Yeah.
He had the it factor, and I told him so, and I was right.
Damn sure were. All these years later, he's on top, doing great. And he's really transformed his look. He looks a little bit different than back when you knew him, huh?
Oh yeah,
Good for him, man. Like, that's one of those guys that takes it really seriously and understands that the job isn't just what you do in the ring or whatever. It's kind of like how you're treating yourself and behaving outside of the ring.
yeah.
Training.
He's smart.
Boy, next name is weird. Turds of Elon asks, did anyone ever say anything to Tim White for slapping the mat when he would go down to do a count? It always made a 2 count sound like a 3. Once I noticed it, I could never unnotice it.
Never bothered me.
I've never thought about it, but I guess he does, and it would be a little bit like if you're not paying attention, like you might be trying to kick out on 1 instead of kicking out on 2, make your opponent look bad.
Maybe.
Tim White was pretty famously the driver for Andre, and you know,
Yeah.
I guess they got along real well. Any experiences or stories about Tim White from you?
Oh, just a fine gentleman, man. Just a real fine gentleman.
I've heard a lot of people echo that. Good man.
Yeah.
A couple more and we'll get out of here. Dodo Warren is up next. What did Jake think of Koko B. Ware and his bird debuting shortly after him and the snake? Never thought about that. Just a few months after you, here comes Koko and another animal gimmick.
It didn't bother me none.
No?
No. What the hell? Are you kidding?
I think I'd be more mad if I was Koko. It's like you gave this guy a snake and I got this fucking bird.
There you
go. He does follow it up with any good stories about Koko?
No.
Nothing?
No.
Is there any bad stories about Koko?
We'll leave that alone.
Okay. That's going to be something I have to ask you when we're in Vegas here next week.
Yeah.
The wrestling old head is up next. Mr. Roberts, curious about your thoughts on the Rude Awakening, the hanging neck breaker, and why wrestlers of today aren't using it as a finisher. I always felt like it looked like an effective tool to get a response from the crowd.
Yeah, it was effective. Why guys aren't using it, I don't know.
Now, you took that finish on a number of occasions, and Jake, I've got to say, even as somebody who's like training it now and being in the ring, I look at Rude do that to people. I'm like, it looks like he fucking murders the guy every single time he does it. It's soft.
Yep.
Wow. Aside from that superplex from Super Destroyer, was there any finish that you absolutely hated taking?
Yeah.
What else?
Suplex, belly to back.
Oh,
Hated
just
that.
just because you can't see where you're going, or why didn't you like it?
Exactly.
Did you ever take a German suplex from anyone?
Oh yeah.
I've never taken one, and I'm like, I don't know, that seems scary. Like all the guys look like they land on the back of their head and neck.
Yeah, it's a little scary.
I know that you would get away from doing pile drivers and whatnot after your neck injury, unless it was a guy that you really trusted, like DiBiase or Undertaker hit you with the tombstone. What's the trick to safely taking the pile driver, or is it all on the guy giving it to you?
It's all on the guy giving it to you.
So you're literally putting your life in their hands.
Yep.
Scary. All right, let's do one more and then we're getting out of here. Peter D wants to know, what qualities do you feel are prerequisites for a performer to be a Hall of Famer?
Oh, know what the hell he's doing.
Yeah.
Have good mic skills and be in shape.
Those are all good qualities.
If you got those, you might make it.
Like the WWE Hall of Fame gets criticized a lot of the time because a lot of people are like, they're just kind of letting anybody in there. I don't know, Jake. It's a lot of these guys are your peers. Put in some hard miles, live the life for a while. Do you feel like a lot of the guys who were featured for a long time, regardless of how big they got, do you think that they belong in the Hall of Fame just because they were there for a while, or what do you think?
Yeah, there's a lot of guys in there that shouldn't be.
Mm.
And there's a lot of guys that should be in there that aren't.
Rick Martel is the first name that jumps to my mind.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully under the new ownership over there, things will be a little bit different.
Well,
But
we really hope.
We'll hope. But Jake, another fun episode in the books, man. Love getting to do these. Listeners always bring it. We got more, and we'll hit them next time.
Take care, bro.
Yeah, man. I'll catch you next time. Okay, guys, we're wrapping up the show, but before we go, got to remind you that if you're looking to attract that 25 to 54-year-old male demographic to your product or service, you've got to hit advertise with snake.com. Jake is still out there doing it, man, hitting the towns, on TV, meeting fans, and when he talks, people listen. So why not get the legendary Jake the Snake Roberts to put over your product or service to that exact demographic? If you want some proof that it works, just listen to our show. We routinely advertise for the same businesses because they know that what we do here works. Head to advertisewithsnake.com. Make Jake the Snake Roberts your tag team partner. Cameo.com/Jake Snake is the place if you want a personal message from Jake Roberts, if you want a birthday wish, or if you want Jake, the greatest promo in the history of wrestling, to cut a promo just for you. It all happens over at Cameo.com, and here's a recent review from Anonymous. This was the best decision of my life. Perfection. Thanks, Jake. I mean, short and sweet, but not a whole lot more needs to be said. Go and look at the reviews over at Cameo.com/Jake Snake and find out for yourself. All of the reviews are great. Jake puts a ton of effort into these. He knows what fans want, and he always delivers. Again, it's Cameo.com/Jake Snake. Order yours today. Check Jake and I out on YouTube. It's youtube.com/@SnakePitPod. We've got some short, bite-sized clips from the show and highlights. We've got some exclusive podcasts over there. We've got that exclusive episode with Baby Doll, which gave more context on Jake's time in WCCW. And believe me, the gears are turning on other ways that we can get more context and more story behind the story, so to speak, on Jake and what he was doing and some of the stories that we've discussed here. So the only place to get all that is over at youtube.com/@SnakePitPod. Does Jake and I a big favor. Get over there and get subscribed. Hit the notifications bell so you don't miss any awesome new videos that we're putting out, and enjoy all the wonderful content that Jake and I have up there. If you've enjoyed the Snake Pit, please do us a big favor. Like, subscribe, leave us a 5-star review on all platforms. Does Jake and I a massive favor and only takes you a couple minutes. So seriously, if you can do it, please just take a couple seconds, help Jake and I out, give us that 5-star review, and let's keep chugging here on the Snake Pit. Catch Jake on X at Jake Snake DDT, on Instagram at Jake the Snake DDT, and on Facebook at Real Jake the Snake. You can follow me and drop your questions at Marcus P. D'Angelo on X.